Neuralink has a surgical bot to insert electrodes in your brain. They seem to try to plot single neurons already. Their interface unit has 104 electrodes. How about we just inject 100 billion electrodes instead? One for each neuron to check. We want to evaluate. Could you upload yourself by recording the spikes of all your neurons for a while, and then train a giant neural network to predict the neuronal spikes, therefore simulating yourself? There are probably issues about the brain just dies because it has 100 billion wires inside. Also, the problem of precisely hitting a single neuron without splitting a blood vessel doesn't become light when there are literally billions of wires that you could entangle with tight. And as I am not a brain surgeon, I probably can't even see the real fights. But let's ignore all that for now, right? Today let's just focus on one problem. Speed, specifically how long it takes to succeed to wire you up. The current surgical robot is terribly slow at that. In this video we can follow using the timestamps in the post. The important thing here is that it takes 3 frames to insert an electrode once in place. Obviously doing this with a 30s video trace, which might be very out of pace, is not great. So as a lower bound, let's say it takes 5 minutes to make an incision. So that's 15 years to wire you up at 200 incisions per second. Yup, that's quite too long. And this is with my best case estimation on the actual time of the robot from cut to cut is over 13 seconds. Yup, so instead of 200 incisions per second, we have 0.75 incisions per second. However, I guess that most of the auxiliary bot stuff, like fetching the electrodes, can be sped up significantly. The cut itself seems harder to optimize. Let's continue in the best guess state. How many needles can be inserted at the same rate without blowing the brain up? Well, that's actually not what's up. Deformation is the weight, as you can see from the video. The insertions we create to form the brain's current state. So by default we can't take a second stab at the same rate in the same area, because tissue in that area will be heavily bent from the first step. But if we jab the brain far enough away, then the deformation would be okay. I am close to just making up numbers this way, as I use the whiteboard drawing here in a way where I compute that we can make 22 stabs at the same instant without needing to pay the tax of figuring out how to handle the deformation state. That's 47 days to wire you up at around 24,000 incisions per second. Yup, we could push on the slope. We could try to make multiple stabs close to one another and hope we can model all the deformations we need to cope, and then use our model as a tightrope to calculate how to make the stabs go smooth. I guess the problem is conceptually easy but hard to get right in the real world. I suspect that Neuralink has solved a simple problem like this. A single stab already causes a deformational hit. So maybe you already need a deformation scope to model to hope for a single stab to correctly slope. However, once you worry about deformations to cope with, you probably want to build a new robot, one that is optimized to have minimal deformational slopes. I don't expect that Neuralink minimized deformation to cope with. Well, they haven't optimized for injecting 100 billion wires in general though, so I tentatively guess that there is some room for improvement. So 47 days is still pretty terrible though, especially considering that these are best case estimates in store. But it's not something like 100,000 years for the best case, yo, which wasn't clear a priori to me before. So while there are gaping technical challenges stacked in a row, it seems not definitely impossible that you could hook yourself up